Is July 11th, 2035, which means it is time for the first year player draft. But before we get into that, as always, it is time to see how our fish have been doing so far here in the 2035 campaign. And it has been an interesting start to the season, an interesting first half for us, because it's been a bit of a different style of almost like Mariners. Marlins team, you can see we're only a half game in front of the Phillies, 57-34, sitting very, very solid on the season. We take a look at the expanded standings. We do have the best run differential in Major League Baseball. The second best is the Phillies, right behind us with a plus 85 to our plus 123. They are 8-2 in their last 10. We're 6-4 in our last 10. So, the NL East might be a really tight race this year, because as of right now, it is a very tight race, but it is a two-team race. These other teams are just kind of not really doing anything. They suck. But Marlins, Phillies starting to really develop into a rivalry here in the mid-2030s here in this universe. But taking a look at our team stats page before we get into why this team has been so interesting or different than it usually is, one of the things you'll be seeing here is we're actually top 5 in home runs. So we have the second most runs scored in the National League, and we are top 5, fourth, with 121 home runs here about halfway through the month of July. We're stealing a ton of bags, still getting a bunch of really good value from that. Very, very good offensive team. Not getting on base as much as we usually do, I feel like, but still just a ton of power, extra base hits going on, and just not walking as much as we usually do. But aside from that, very powerful offense we've got going here. And then on the pitching side of things, it's been a bit of a ragtag group this season because our starting pitching depth is all of a sudden not what it once was. You can see here overall, third best ERA in the National League, but the starters ERA is 9th, whereas the bullpen is the best in the National League. Same with tied for first in runs allowed, so we're scoring the second most runs. We're tied for the first least amount of runs allowed. Least hits allowed, the lowest opponent's average, second lowest BABIP. Giving up a decent amount of home runs, but nothing too crazy. Still walking a decent amount of guys, but not as much as we were, I would say, the past couple seasons, striking out a ton and playing extremely good defense. So why has this Marlins team been different as in previous seasons? Well, first of all, you can see Pedro Patino has actually been on the IL for us. He hasn't missed a ton of time. He's been out for a couple weeks with biceps tendonitis. Nothing too crazy, but he has missed some time. He was performing very, very well, but he's basically the only starter who has been performing very well for us this season. And before we actually get into that, I should show you the rest of the injured list here, as Dylan Head is out for the rest of the season. He was having a piss-poor offensive year, coming off his first Gold Glove, was stealing bags at what he does, doing what he does, even with a 278 OBP, playing very good center field still, being Dylan Head, but unfortunately, Jorge Garza is now our center fielder because Dylan Head is out for the season with surgery to remove bone chips in his elbow. So no Dylan Head in the playoffs for us. George Mikov, though, he's been terrible this season as our fourth outfielder. 13 WRC plus, negative WAR, just been awful. Just been straight up awful for us. And he's currently out for multiple weeks with a strained abdominal muscle. So we're really piecing things together in the outfield at the moment. But first, taking a look at this ragtag pitching group, where right now we have 2 followers in there and 3 traditional starters, and then the bullpen is looking a bit different than it was to start the season, but we've got that pretty much humming at this point, where these guys are all doing their job, and we're just kind of piecing it together, doing like AJ Hinch style stuff with the rotation outside of Patino, which obviously is going to be our number 1 when he comes back. But for now, it is Prospero Cannavaro and Ramon Hernandez, our followers. Jose Hernandez, Marique Godfroy, who started the season in AAA, was doing really well down there, has come up, started in the bullpen for us here at the Major League level. You could see was good in 4 appearances in the bullpen. Then somebody got hurt. We moved him to rotation, and through 31 innings and 6 starts, he has been phenomenal, striking at 29.8% of batters, not giving up any home runs. He is walking a decent amount of guys, but he's also one of these big-time stuff, not great control guys that we have in our system. 85 grade fastball. Marique Godefroy has been really, really good for us since moving to the rotation. And then we also have Logan Gilbert, who we signed to a minor league deal and then called him up when some injuries and some underperforming guys started needing to be sent down. As he did start off pretty good in the big leagues, but as you can see, as of recently, or I guess it is one start in July was not good, but you can see here through May, his first 4 starts in the big leagues, very, very good. I was like, holy shit, we're getting 38-year-old Logan Gilbert, 37 at the time, or I guess 38. He turned 38 in the beginning of May. So yeah, like 38-year-old Logan Gilbert doing really well, and then June came around, and I guess the league figured out what the hell he was doing. But you can see here, one promising start so far in July. So we're obviously not going to be able to send him down because he's had 14 years of Major League service and he can decline an option. So for now, he's just going to be like kind of eating innings as our 5th starter, making it so we don't have too many followers in the rotation. But yeah, up and down. Hopefully he can maybe find some success like he did in the month of May. As far as the rest of the staff, Jose Hernandez, he's been whatever, nothing too great. He's been around league average with the ERA and the FIP low 4 on both of those numbers. He's been fine. He's whatever. We're not going to complain too much about that. Ramon Hernandez has not been great this season. You can see his strikeout numbers are going down. His walk rate went up again. His K- walk is not great at all. He's being used as a follower right now. If we take a look at his pitching splits as a starter, below league average ERA, below or worse than league average FIP, and then as a reliever, it's been better with the ERA, but actually worse with the FIP, and his K- walk has dipped a ton as a reliever for some reason, which makes no sense. But that is what's going on with Swamp Baby at this moment, as this contract is starting to look like it's going to be a bit of a hindrance to us. It's not anything too crazy, but, you know, we signed him to this thinking that he was going to be like a legit 2-3 starter for us, and right now it's looking like he's a follower reliever. And then Prospero Cannavaro, you could see, has had 1 appearance in the big leagues. It went very, very well. If we take a look at his games here, it was against Milwaukee. He got 4 1/3 coming out of the bullpen as a follower, 1 hit, no runs, 4 Ks, and gets the W over them back on July 6th. And yeah, he'll be probably getting like 1 more time through the rotation, then Patino will come back, and then we'll decide what to do with Cannavaro from there. Whereas the bullpen, this is where we haven't really dialed at this point. Luke Garreau and Tony Elizalde have been 2 of the best relievers, if not the 2 best relievers in Major League Baseball this season. Both of them with low 2 ERAs. Elizalde is getting most of the saves, but Luke Garreau is pitching just as much and being just an absolute menace for us. You can see 74 innings for Garreau with a 2 WAR already, incredible 2.19 ERA and a 2.38 FIP, 40% K rate for him, and then Tony Elizalde has 69 innings pitched, basically a 2 WAR, a 2.22 ERA and a 2.8 FIP for him. Not as high of a K percentage, but still extremely effective for both these players. And then we have a big group of guys in the middle relief here. Adrian Grijalva is back in the big leagues. He has been serviceable for us as a left-handed pitcher. Mike Bird has been pretty solid. He's been really, really good at the FIP, but he's been a little bit unlucky with the ERA. TJ Griffin dropped him out of the setup role because he wasn't pitching as well, but ever since he moved him to the middle relief specialist role, he has been pitching much better as of recently. Angel Macias has been quite good for us this season as well, doing his thing in a middle relief role for us. You could see a 73 FIP minus. And then Rod Cajones in a avoid high leverage role, trying to get him to actually develop, which he has been a bit, and he has been pretty solid, but still not good enough to where I would want him in high leverage. And then Alex Moyeda, actually been healthy since coming back from his injury, as a long reliever, 42 and 2/3 innings pitched through 20 appearances, and he has been phenomenal in those appearances. In a long relief role, obviously, but still valuable, especially with our team getting so many followers and our bullpen getting burnt through a lot. We need a guy who can give you innings like that with Moyeda. Plus, we have the 2 stoppers on the back end who pitch a ton, obviously. And as far as some of the starters or pitchers who started the year on the big league roster who are now down in AAA because they just weren't performing, one of them was Casey Peterson. Got 11 appearances, 19.2 innings pitched, was not good whatsoever, got the send down. He's been in the AAA rotation, doing pretty solid down there. But, you know, I'm sure he'll be back up at some point, but for now, his team, his spot on the big league roster is not solidified at the moment. Omar Garcia got off to a really piss-poor start to the season. He got 7 starts at the big league level, and he was not good, giving up 2.6 home runs per 9, just completely unacceptable. So we had to send him down. And in Jacksonville with AAA, he's been okay, I guess, but still not really tapping into any of his potential here, looking like he's going to be a guy who just kind of forever has lied to you about how good his potential can be. So Garcia in AAA for us. And then on the hitting side of things, it is a very, very top-heavy lineup this season. It's basically a 4-headed dragon of Mark Antonio, Jorge Garza, Alex Garcia, and Jalen McCoy, who are our 1 through 4 hitters. And then the previously platoon of Angel Miguel and Iva Arquette was performing very, very well for us, but now they are both starting, even Miguel against lefties, which is not the most ideal thing in the world because he cannot hit against lefties. Ideally, we can try to find a spot for Harai in the team against lefties, but it's not easy to find a spot for a guy who really has no defensive home whatsoever. What we could do against lefties is try putting, you can see we have Vargas playing right field at the moment because Garcia's in left, Garza's playing center. Rick Morrison is up as our 4th outfielder at the moment, as a lefty coming off the bench as well. Really good speed profile too. And then Wilfrey De La Cruz is back up as our backup infielder. Ortega and Asbel have been swapping every other day at catcher. They've both been whatever, not great, but, you know, giving us good defensive metrics at the catcher position, while being like up and down sort of hitters, slightly below league average. We'll take it for a catcher tandem like that. But as I said, it's been a 4-headed dragon of Mark Antonio, who has a 4 WAR here at the July 11th mark on the season, a 174 WRC plus, 22 home runs, and 22 doubles as well, 18 stolen bases at an 85.7% success rate. He has the 3rd highest walk rate on the team, the highest among starters, everyday players, sub-20 strikeout rate. He is phenomenal. Mark Antonio is insane. We did give him the boost to his proneness, to now it's back up to normal. He still does have a tendency to get, I made sure that his injury to his back tendency was not like down to normal because that would just make no sense. So it's not like 190 or whatever it was before, but it's still not, as low as it could be. And so far this season, he actually has had back spasms twice. So it's not like he's not getting hurt still. He still is. He's still having back issues, but been a bit more healthy than he was last season, and the bat has been phenomenal for him. And then there's Jorge Garza, who's currently leading off for us with a 353 OBP, 22 doubles and 12 home runs on the season for him, and a team lead 26 stolen bases. Or honestly, not Mikov, Dylan Head. He still has not caught up to Dylan Head, who has not played since late June, so Garza will be passing him, but still has not caught up to Dylan Head. And then Alex Garcia has been really good as well, a 2.9 WAR for him, a 153 WRC plus, 25 doubles and 16 home runs. Once again, another one of our really good hitters who doesn't strike out, doesn't play good defense either, but he's there for his bat. You can see here he's been tapping into some of his power. Really, really good player for us, and we've, of course, got him signed through his age 31 season at an extremely, extremely team-friendly deal. The Panamanian is here for quite a while. And then Jalen McCoy, his breakout season this year, folks, 2.5 WAR for him, 158 WRC plus, 20 doubles, 24 home runs, a sub-14 strikeout percentage, 949 OPS. He has been phenomenal. He has a 75 power rating, fully tapped into that now. I mean, he has a 75 power and a 75 avoid K. Just nutty, nutty stuff. 80-85 against lefties, 70-70 against righties. I mean, just incredible stuff for that four-headed dragon, like I keep saying, at the top of our team here. And then what was a platoon between Miguel and Arquette here was very well for us. Both of them have triple-digit WRC pluses. Both of them have like around a 1.5 WAR. 13 home runs for Miguel, 9 home runs for Arquette, 8 for them, 8 doubles for them respectively. And they've just been really solid. Miguel, obviously, much, much better against right-handed pitching than he is against lefties. We will try to finagle something and get somebody else playing against lefties in the lineup rather than him. But for now, that's where he's been playing. And then Ivar Arquette's been good against both sides, actually. Serviceable against righties, and then really solid against lefties. His first really solid, like, full MLB, not full yet, obviously, but like his first solid MLB season since his rookie year, I guess. I would take one of these. I would take like a 2 WAR and like a round league average WRC plus. That's like what he's on pace for. So Ivar Arquette has been a solid player for us. And then the rest of these guys have just kind of been not anything for us. Brooks Lee playing a decent enough shortstop. Not too crazy, but a 4 ZR. Good enough. Not hitting at all anymore. We have him for 1 more season guaranteed after this. And then there's team options, which I would imagine if he keeps hitting like this, we are not going to be picking him up for those team options. But for now, he is our shortstop, hitting towards the bottom of our lineup. I've already talked about Ortega and Asbel. De La Cruz has just barely recently come up. He has like no time at all. Harai has barely played this season. Rick Morrison has barely played. And then Ashedri Vargas has been brutal for us this season. We've got this guy signed for 2 more years guaranteed at $22 and $20 million respectively. A big dip from this year at 26.5, which is the way we structured that out. Take notes, MLB The Show. Why should I be able to do this in your game? But Ashedri Vargas, now at 30 years old, has really gotten to the point of his career where he is... I mean, I would hope that he can try to rebound from this, but he might be starting to be in like the sundowning portion of his career, unfortunately. But right now we need him. We need his versatility on the team because, I mean, he's played everywhere for us. He's played first. He's played second. He's played third. He's played left. He's played right. Right now he's playing right field for us. Garcia's in left and Garza's in center. But, we need this bat to try to turn things around because he has been by far our worst everyday player this season, and it's just been a huge disappointment because Vargas has been one of the centerpieces for us for a long time. And the idea that I had for getting Harai into the lineup against left-handed pitching, because we want this bat against lefties, get him to play more and not have Miguel play, the idea of that would be something like we could either maybe play McCoy in left field and just kind of like get by with that, or we could play Mark Antonio in left field. Maybe now that he's injury-prone normal, we can try to play him in left. Do some like Giancarlo Stanton type stuff where it's just like, we just need you to get by in left field. Maybe I'm more leaning towards McCoy, although Mark Antonio has more range. McCoy's got a 55 left field and Mark Antonio has a 60 potential. Yeah, so I don't want to risk that he's going to get hurt. But if we move McCoy to left field, then we would have to move... I guess Harai could play first base then. He's been a horrible first baseman, even with the improvement. So it's not like we're getting any sort of defensive value at first base. We're just like straight up Giambiing it at first base. What a term there, huh? Giambiing it. That really rolls off the tongue. All right, so here's not what we're rocking. We've got Harai DHing. Mark Antonio's in left. Garcia moves to right field. McCoy's still at first. And Harai is going to be getting some more time against lefties because we want to unleash that bat against left-handed pitching because he is the lefty masher. Also, I wanted to highlight Andy Hodge, who was our first-round pick in 2033, just 2 seasons ago out of Minnesota State University, Mankato. He has 17 starts at the Double-A level this season, and he has been phenomenal. He was phenomenal in A-ball last year, got called up to Double-A this year, and he has been even better. I guess he has been better. In less time, he's basically got has the same WAR, and he's on pace to out our WAR himself. Better ERA plus, better FIP minus this season. As of right now, the ratings don't look anything too crazy. You look at his scouting, he could already fill a depth role, but his future is of a number 2 starter. So, like, if this guy could develop to be behind Patino for us, that would be phenomenal, because we haven't had anybody really develop like that in forever. Just a lot of guys being lied to us that they're going to fill in their potentials, like the Omar Garcia situation we have right now. Hopefully Hodge can develop. So far he has been moving in the right direction, but we will see how his career goes from here on out. I also wanted to mention Jeremy Alston, who is not ready for the big leagues quite yet. He was a 17th round pick for us in 2032 out of a Texas high school. At least I believe it's a Texas high school. Yes, in Katy, Texas. Lefty, like I said, not quite ready yet, but does look like he could be, if he develops, a solid lefty reliever for us. And then we do have two options that we could call up to the big leagues at some point this season to be an infielder option for us, and that's Sergio Del Cid, who was a 12th round pick for us in 2030, finally starting to develop here. He had a 5 WAR in A-ball last year, a 4.7 so far in AA this year, being really, really solid, looking really, really good as a bat against right-handed pitching. So he could be somebody that comes up to the big leagues and plays like a backup infielder role for us at some point this year. And then we also have Domingos Ferdique, who was a Venezuelan-Italian we signed in 2030 as an international amateur free agent. He's another guy who could give us some backup infielder depth. He's more of a corner guy at first base, third base. I guess he can give you some shortstop and second. He hasn't played second yet. We might play him there in the minor leagues to get familiar with the position so he could give us some more depth in the majors. But he's another guy. He's a righty, so he's a bit better against lefties, or really a lot better against lefties, but he can hold his own against righties. He is another option who is tearing the cover off the ball in AA, who could come up to the big leagues and be solid for us. Well, let's actually dive into the first-year player draft here in 2035. We have the last pick of the first round, 31st overall. The Nationals are selecting first overall. The past couple seasons, this draft has been extremely, extremely disappointing, extremely weak, not very deep at all. I mean, you get down to like pick 20 and it's already like everyone's gone, and it's really just not a lot of stuff there, which is quite different than it was in the earlier seasons in this universe. So we'll see how it is in this one. But first overall to the Washington Nationals in our division is Justin Robinson of Georgia Tech, college outfielder. Looks like he could be good. He's definitely a corner. He's going to not be a great corner. Maybe more of a first base type, but doesn't really have the pop to be a first baseman. I don't know that I would take this guy first overall. I mean, why would they take this guy first overall? There's got to be somebody better than him. There's got to. I mean, look at this. There's a bunch of 80s right here. I don't know why they're not taking any of these guys. Jonathan Shook. He'd be a better pick. These are all high schoolers. There's Francisco Pena. He'd be a better pick. This starter would be a better pick. If they want to go college guys, I guess there's a college starter here. You could have taken this guy. I guess if they're trying to save money, they don't want to go for him. This guy is a way better version of what they took, really. They should have taken this guy if they wanted to go college. This guy even, I guess. I like the other guy better. I like Newsom better than Raposa, but I mean, they definitely could have gotten somebody better than Justin Robinson here. I guess they're just trying to save money because he goes for slot. Awesome stuff. But now we are on to our pick here, 31st overall, and as far as who's available here, just everybody listed, college and high school players. A lot of relievers, a lot of high school and college relievers here, not really looking for that. If we go all batters, there's a couple 65 guys here. Ray Foley, big time power eye, decent BABIP and gap power, serious swing and miss, impossible signee, not going to get him. Josh Scott looks like a decently well-around bat if he develops. He hasn't developed at all so far. He's got an extreme development risk. Could maybe be like a shortstop, second baseman type, but, you know, a long way to go for him. Don't love the extreme risk on the development. If we go starters, there's a high school starter in Rich Barica, who's only a 2-pitch guy. Don't think I would want to take that. College starter who's fragile, not taking that. We're not going to take any of these guys. If we go all batters, and let's look at college guys, there's a couple 60s and Brad Chauvin, who is intriguing. I don't know if he's ever going to make enough contact to be effective, but I mean, that gap power, power eye trio right there with the high leader work ethic, 60 range, could play you a really good corner. He's kind of intriguing. Definitely kind of intriguing. John McDonnell, don't know if I love this bat. If I'm going to take a first baseman here, I think I would want him to be a bit better potential-wise than he is. Especially since, not that I'm a big draft for need guy, but we have first baseman. We don't need a first baseman. Devin Francois, all contact, nothing else. Jared Harville. If I'm going to take a guy like this, I'd probably just take Chauvin. Are there any, standout catchers? I guess there's some 45 guys here. What if we just go all players? Yeah, none of these catchers are standout guys we would take at the moment. Infielders. Okay. 70 range, 55 potential as a college guy. Okay. Now, I wouldn't normally take a guy like this in the first round, but that 70 range is so good. I mean, I've already talked about it in this season, in this year's version of the game, there is just such a lack of players like this who have 70 range and are legit 70 ranges where they actually have equal ratings and error arm and turn DP to where they could actually play shortstop for you. Now, this guy is entirely all just glove and slap hitter. But, I mean, that's a really good glove. I mean, this is usually what you see is a guy at 70 range who's not actually going to be able to play you shortstop because the rest of this stuff is just not good enough to play anywhere. This Greg Brookbank guy, he's not a shortstop either. He's also an impossible signee. So honestly, we might take Sal Morales here. We do need a shortstop post Brooks Lee. Right now it's looking like it could be Marquin, but at the same time, it might not be Marquin. I don't love this extreme risk guy. I've already talked about him. So yeah, I guess it's either Chauvin or any of these other 60 guys standing out, 60 potential guys. Not really. These guys don't have the power or gap or eye to stand out. This is another college or high school first baseman. No. I mean, he's decent, but yeah, so I think it's either Chauvin or Morales, the shortstop. Or if we go starter, I don't think any of these guys intrigue me. So I honestly, I'm tempted to get we're just going to do it. We're going to take the shortstop here. Sure, does Chauvin look like he could be a good bat? Yeah. I'm just kind of banking on that his contact profile is just never going to be good enough to actually do anything. You can see here he's been struggling a bit in the draft league, just not getting on base enough, even with this eye. And there's the swing and miss profile. So I think we're gonna go with the shortstop and see if this guy can be a Gold Glove shortstop for us in the future. Sal Morales, he is our first round pick, 31st overall. We move things on round 2. We do not luck out and still have Chauvin here available, but this Ray Foley guy is here. There's that college first baseman who has really good personality. Robbie Cuevas is interesting. Big time gap power, Jorge Garza type bat, maybe. He has one of these fake ranges in the outfield where he's got 65 range, but horrible error and horrible arm. So he's really only going to be able to play you a good left field. I mean, maybe we take Cuevas. This Clark McClellan guy, I kind of like him more than I like Cuevas as the high school player. Don't love that Bradford Spence guy. Edmund Peck, lefty, another sort of first base left field type. Yeah. This guy's intriguing too. What about any starters? I don't know if I want to take a college starter at this point. This guy's durable. Or not college starter, but a high school starter. He's a lefty. I don't love that his BABIP's never going to be better than 45. But he's going to be able to go deep into games. He's a lefty who holds runners. Looks like he could have 3 elite pitches. The movement's not great, though. He's durable. What about college guys? Ian Cooper, maybe. Chris Dover. Don't love that he doesn't have a third pitch. Danny Maddox is like a high control movement sort of guy. Would we be able to get that to develop? Maybe, maybe not. I think I prefer Cooper over him if we go pitcher. Just because Cooper has way better stuff. Obviously not as good of a movement, like super ground ball profile, but he does have the control. Yeah, it's either Cooper or Maddox that we go with here. I mean, Maddox has been limiting FIP really well. This is a really pitcher-friendly league. I mean, a 3.7 ERA is a 70 ERA plus. That's crazy. Cooper. He's only got 35 stamina, though. Maddox only has 40. There's some college relievers we could go. I mean, lefty? Man. Honestly, I'm tempted to get this guy. Lefty, durable, went to Virginia Tech. He's from Alaska. 35 stamina, elite hold runners. Looks like he could be a really, really, really good lefty reliever, and we've struggled to have that. Adaptability, work ethic, low financial ambition, throws really hard as a lefty. He's not a side armor, so he's not just going to only be against lefties. You know, I'm not a big take relievers at this point in the draft guy, but I mean, if he's this good, I'm doing it. Corey Goodman, welcome to the organization. Round 2, we take a reliever. I mean, Edmund Peck, he looks like he could be a decent bat, but he's just going to be a first baseman, corner outfielder, whereas Barber could potentially be a shortstop. He could be a shortstop. The 55 turn DP isn't great, neither is the arm. But he could give you maybe some decent infield defense with an intriguing bat that's kind of similar to Peck. Just not as much avoid K, but it's still a solid avoid K. And then Boat right here looks like he could be a really good outfielder who has a bunch of swing and miss, but he has that profile of that trio of gap power, power I, 50 BABIP. We've been dying to find infielders, though, so I'm kind of leaning Ben Barber. Ian Cooper is still here. We're going to go Ben Barber. He's our 3rd round pick. We move things on. The other 2 guys we were looking at are not there. Is Ian Cooper still here? He is. So we're going to go Ian Cooper. Round 4. Bang on. Move things on to round 5. Interesting college reliever. Also durable. Maybe we look more into these college relievers. Who's here for the bats? Are there any good, like, high school guys? That Clark McClellan guy is still here. We have him very high accuracy. I think at this point in the draft, we have to take this guy. We've been limiting some of our budget here. We don't have a ton of guys who are making a shit ton of money here as when it comes to their demands in the draft. So I think we got to take Clark McClellan here as just a high upside, long-term play. I think that's just obvious here. We got to take Clark McClellan. Boom. He's our 5th round pick. Move things on to round 6. Looking at the college players. The college bats are really falling off the board here. There's a 65 framing, 45 potential guy. Maybe we take this guy now, if we really want to lean into defense there. Yeah, I don't think any of these college bats are somebody we want to take at the moment. Pat Hyatt isn't really that good of a catcher that stands out to me. There are still some of these reliever guys here, though, so let's switch this to the arms. Okay. Only like a one-inning guy, though. Houston Duffy. Another lefty. Fly ball guy, don't love that. David Carmen, another lefty. 40 stamina, really good personality class. Don't love the BABIP, though. Only 50 movement. I think 45 BABIP, but the home runs allowed could be really good. Slider-cutter combo, 35 stamina. He's from Manalapan. Are any of these guys, like, starters that could, like, they're 45s, but they kind of stand out as guys who could be good? I thought it was Robert Thomas. I was going to say, not to be confused with the hockey player. Maybe hasn't really developed enough for a college guy for my liking. Bobby Sweeney's a no. Zach Miller's a no. This guy, no. 80 control is interesting. I would like to see the movement be a bit higher if I was to take this guy right now, so I think... Oh, there's also Ken Burns, who we weren't looking at. He's only a single-inning guy, though. He is durable. I think we're going to lean Nate Stevenson here. Yeah, we're going to take him. Why not? College reliever Nate Stevenson, Westchester University, but from Manalapan, New Jersey. Shout out. Take him in round 6, move things on round 7. Now, those other guys were taken, so that was a good round to take those guys, now that it's dropped all the way down to these dudes. That heist, or that college catcher is still here. What about the 65 framing guy? He is as well. He's a lefty. Maybe we can luck out and we can pair him with some of these lefty platoon catchers that we have, where we're like, we have Scrooby and Isbell who can really hit against lefties but can against righties. Maybe this guy can develop to be like the opposite of that, and we could platoon him and Scrooby long term. That could be an option. He's a high leader. I think we're going to take Nick Voss. We're down to like this 45 section. None of these guys really like standing out to me as like somebody we like need to be taking. I mean, this guy's bat is interesting enough as like a bench maybe someday. Good personality. But I think we're going to take the catcher. We're taking Nick Voss and hoping that he can develop into like the strong side platoon of all these different right-handed hitting catchers that we have. At a TCU, we're taking him. Move things on to round 8. As Scat thinks we should take high schooler. Who are the high school guys available? Danny Berger, extreme risk. But he is kind of intriguing. It's more Void K than it is BABIP, though. I think I would prefer this guy, even with the swing and miss. We need power in the system. He's got good personality. This got the 60 range, but he's a possible signee, never mind. Josh Lowe. Not to be confused with real-life Josh Lowe. Yeah, I think we're going to take this guy as like a long-term sort of play, because I don't think there's going to be any college bats that stand out to me at this point that we should be taking. Maybe a guy like Ben Rockmore, but I think we want to take the high upside here. So we're going to take Cesar Anguiano as our 8th round pick. Alrighty, so we are here at the end of the first-year player draft in 2035. I believe we left off after taking Cesar Anguiano here in round 8, and then in round 9 we took Tim Breaux, the lefty out of Western Illinois University, 80 control potential, the holy trifecta in the personality class. Figured he was worth a shot at that point in the draft. In round 10, we took a reliever out of college, Emporia State University. Really good control, movement potential. Never going to be a hard thrower, but a guy who limits damage very well and doesn't walk anybody. Felt like he was worth taking a shot here in round 10. Then round 11, it's Houston Duffy, lefty reliever out of Fordham. Throws extremely hard as a lefty, fastball, curveball, really good potential on that. Looks like he could be decent. Fly ball I was willing to overlook at this point in the draft with this this really good profile at this point in the draft. Round 12, it's Devin Rook, a college reliever out of UConn. Go Huskies. Thought he was decent enough. Really good personality class. That was the main thing we were looking for here. We took him with the holy trifecta. And then round 13, we took Kurt Coffey, a high school starting pitcher out of a Florida high school. Thought he just had some decent, potentials here. 50 potential overall, even with the 2 pitches. Figured why not try to take this guy round 13. He was a 50 available at that point in the draft. Might as well. Round 14, Jason Hernandez, another one of these Hernandez guys that we have with super huge stuff at his fastball splitter combo. Could be the next in line of like the Ramon Hernandez type of guy for us. Maybe he's an Alex Moyeda in the bullpen sort of type. He doesn't have the starting potential at the moment, but maybe he could get a stamina boost at some point. But for now, looking like he could be a decent reliever down the line who just has nasty, nasty stuff. And then it's round 15. We take Fred Anderson. Decent outfield range, 70 arm, decent speed profile, BABIP, power, eye, switch hitter. Why not? 18 years old. And then we take 16. Quadir Williams, a college durable 70 range guy. Fake 70 range, but I figured why not at this point in the draft. And then in round 17, we take Noah Huber, a lefty high school reliever. Really good fastball, curveball potentials. Self-explanatory at that point in the draft. Round 18, we take John McPherson, another lefty high school reliever. Fastball slider combo on him. Potentially 100 miles an hour. Already 98 to 100. And then round 19, we take a guy who can go deep into games and has a 45 grade knuckleball, because why not? And then in round 20, to round things out, we take Paul Jacobs, 18 years old, durable, has 50 control, 50 movement potentials. Figured why not take a shot here in round 20.